Okay, everyone, welcome back. Now it's time for the final session of Tokyo Forum 2025. In the wrap-up session, we will look back at the discussions and insights shared over the past 2 days. Joining us are 4 students from the youth session. They are Jae Minu, a third-year student of mechanical engineering at Seoul National University, Matsuno Ai, a second-year student of College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Tokyo, Kim Jong-won, a third-year student of Business Administration at Korea University, and Tsuji Haruki, a third-year student of College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Tokyo. Along with them, we have President FUJII Teruo of the University of Tokyo, and Executive Vice President Hayashi Kaori will lead the conversation. So Professor Hayashi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Yamamoto, for the introduction. And all right, let's just start with a common question to all of you after you learn so much. And I'm sure you have so many things to say. And so let's begin maybe with this question. So after exploring the idea of capitalism in the class and also during the event, how do you feel you have changed through the study? What stood out to you most? And maybe in other words, what message would you like to share with everyone here today? I would like to start with Minu, perhaps, and then down to Haruki. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Professor. Yeah, actually, as a youth, I was participating in this whole program, not only the forum, we had a lot of discussion sessions. And at first, I thought like capitalism is some kind of evil thing, actually, because like we hear a lot of stories about capitalism, and most of them is actually criticizing them, right? So I was one of them too, but after a lot of discussions, I come to think like, is the challenges are really new? Of course, it is new at some point because I think the youth has to be take a lot of roles in when we are thinking about capitalism because it's really closely tied nowadays with technologies. And actually, youth generation has a better understanding about technologies. So we have a lot of in-charge moments, but at the same time, the notion of challenge itself is, I think, actually not new. Because we already saw a lot of challenges for capitalism, but still, we having it right now too, because we have solved some issues, and some of them is unsolved, but still we can live on it. So my whole point was like, first, it is all about technology recently, and youth is really relevant to it. So after the program, I come to think like, we have to be in charge and we have to actively solve the matter, and really thankful and grateful for this kind of forum to giving us the room to speak.
So you felt more responsible for what is happening in terms of capitalistic society and capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's so it's worth learning things like this because you are an engineering student and something different from what you learn from everyday lives at college, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Let's move on to Ai. Yeah. What did you think about?
Thank you, Professor. Like Minu, before this program, I thought capitalism is kind of enemy for me because my major is educational sociology, and I'm researching about the disparity in education. So, however, through considering capitalism and discussing capitalism, I realized that there is a kind of benefit to education from capitalism, because in the capitalism system, we have the free market, and we are allowed to create products if there is a need, there is a demand. So various ways to receive education have been developed, such as online learning or active alternative schools without going to designated schools, or individualized study. And I think this And this kind of thing have enabled students to have access to education even after they have difficulty with the ordinary style of education. So so through this program, I realized there is before this program, I only focused just the bad aspects of capitalism, but after this program, I realized that there is a lot of good aspects, and I think that people also think that capitalism is kind of an EV system because it's usually is the capitalism is associated with the disparity, but I think we have for now we have no choice but to live with capitalism. So I think it is very important to the search for how to achieve the well-being, how to achieve our goals in the capitalism system.
Okay, thank you very much. It's interesting that both Minu and I thought that capitalism is something evil. Many of you, how about you? Do you think that capitalism has an image of evilness or bad things? It's about competition and so on. Yeah, I think it's quite a common, so to say, understanding of what capitalism is. But after we learned about deeper into the capitalism, the conception of capitalism, then maybe it's really the sign that it's not as easy as we thought, that you can't really judge or this concept, capitalism. You can't say that it's bad or good, but you have to really step back and see what has been taking place around the concept of capitalism and how this concept is intertwined with our everyday lives. And I think I, so to say, made the connection with what you're studying, namely the education, and I think that's a big achievement. Yeah, thank you very much. So, Jong-won, yes, what about you?
So before this session, capitalism itself is very deeply ingrained in our daily life, so we don't really have a lot of chance to think about whether it's good or whether it's bad. But one thing that I want to focus on was that people tend to think about capitalism in a very dichotomic viewpoint. So they think whether it's good or whether it's bad. But I believe that system is just a system, but how we shape that system and how we try to solve different problems that are uprising due to some kind of ill aspects of the system is what our society should do. And how capitalism differentiates itself greatly from other social system or other economic system is whether it admits the possession of personal property or not. And from that aspect, I believe that we are getting benefit because it encourages fair competition, and anyone who has innovative ideas can actually enter the market and compete with their own merits and skills. As a business majoring student, I think that many of those conglomerates or companies or what I learned in my school, so how to maximize profit or how to increase efficiency through changing something regarding the operation, it's very often in the heart of criticism. I know that we are sometimes seen as evil, as my colleagues have stated, but I believe that there are many good points and many positive impacts that those businesses are making. They are creating jobs for us, and they are providing us better services in a reasonable prices. And so many things are possible due to those innovation created by businesses. And during this Tokyo Forum, we went to the field trip to a social venture company that's creating products for visually impaired individuals. And what we found out was that if these social ventures work harder, and if there are more of these social ventures encouraged, then maybe companies or traditional conglomerate models could not be as negative as what people think. So what I thought throughout this whole session in forum was that keeping the balance between those different values and trying to find out what kind of ill aspects are there regarding the system is more important than just trying to, okay, find out this is the problem, this is the problem. And we have to make constructive discussion, and that's the biggest point and biggest message that I received throughout the forum.
Okay, thank you very much. So John Won is majoring in business administration, and before we come to this stage, we had a discussion of what we will talk about, and John Won picked up this concept of fairness, so that everybody can, in a way, enter the market and can try out what one wants to do. And also, she also wants to see the aspect of possibilities that you can start up new businesses and you can contribute through the market principles, through the business, that there are aspects of capitalism that contribute to this to society. And another concept you mentioned also was, if I remember correctly, the balance. Right, and I think the balance, after we study quite much about capitalism, the concept of try to balance the good sides and bad sides, that's an aptitude and approach how we study this type of complicated concept, namely the capitalism. Well, thank you, John Won. And now, Haruki, it's your turn.
Thank you. So, what I want to share with you is that we should have diverse conversation. So the theme of this forum is rethinking capitalism. So, and I talked with my great group member with a lot of discussion, including the topic that I didn't know much about. But I think that many of the discussion were limited in the field of capitalism. I mean, I don't think we can discuss about some replacing about capitalism. So if the theme is rethinking capitalism, so why not discussing replacing capitalism? What I want to emphasize is that I think that capitalism should be replaced. But I want to tell that a lot of perspectives should be included. So I want to share that with the audience and my friends, that we have to keep in mind that we have some limitation of our discussion. And as Professor Yaguchi says, that we didn't discuss some gender issues or poverty issue, so we shouldn't be satisfied in this forum. So this forum is partly supported by the very big companies, and it is. I mean that this forum is supported by capitalism. I think this has both good side and the positive side and negative sides. I think that we as people living inside of capitalism, have awareness that the capitalism cause some dysfunction. But the negative aspect is that I concern that our discussion is limited within the capitalism. But if we want to solve the problem completely, I think we have to include a lot of opinions, not only from capitalism but also from outside of capitalism. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Haruki. I think Haruki is a student who has been raising questions over and over again. What is the alternative to the capitalism, and how can we achieve to think of beyond capitalism? That has been your fundamental question, right?
Yes.
And Haruki has been really engaging in the issue of gender equity, and from that point of view. He also raised the issues or challenges about the structural impairment that capitalism has in its really the inherit to this concept. So yes, these are some of the how do you say, the challenges of this very historical concept that we have been facing since the summer of this academic year. So these are some thoughts that students gave involving the capitalism and also the concept of capitalism. So I would like to ask President FUJII, would you like to share your thoughts? What was your takeaway
Right.
during the event, and what do you think about the comments that students gave now?
Yes, so there are two major points. The first of all, so we had before this session, so we had a youth session, and we had 5 very nice proposals of what we can do to make this current capitalism better. And also at the same time, when you listen to this business leader session yesterday, and many of the business leaders also are having the sort of quite common, feeling over this need for the new capitalism, involving all these social values to be taken into account of the business activities. So that my feeling was, so first of all, to discuss about capitalism is fine, but then as Professor Yaguchi said, so there's a kind of long history of discussion around. So that now also it's time for us, for the seniors, I should say, to think about doing something to change or to improve this. So that if we could come up with the good way of making this capitalism or put this capitalism into the better direction. So that as we discussed a little bit about establishing set up a fund for example, this fund could be the good platform for the youth to realize your ideas and taking the lead to push that way to improve this capitalism. So that like this way, if we could come up with the right measure for this, that is very important. So that rather than discussing for the longer time over this capitalism, but we could do something. So that is one thing. The another thing is also, by having this kind of, as I have said, so it's experimentation, so having this kind of new system is a kind of experiment. But then throughout this experiment, we also, and also this discussion around the space, outer space, or especially outer space and deep sea seabed. So this is also a good, not really a practice, but not really a good experience for us to think beyond capitalism, as Haruki-san said. So that what would be the kind of, so we definitely need to invent a new domain or a new form of capitalism in a way for everyone can participate in this area of social good. So for their daily activities in business or learning or whatever. So that will be another point that we can take from these discussions?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, it's very important point that like space or I think the domain that is not influenced directly by the market logics, which I'm a sociologist, and then the people often call it the commons or public sphere, and how we better keep this area and maintain its own good is also an agenda that we have to face up when we discuss about a capitalistic society. And also, President Fuji said that we seniors have to take actions, and yes, that I agree. But also, I think the youth has suggested quite many things today at their presentations, and but maybe we talk quite much about actions throughout the discussions. But that really depends on the social context as well, and students really, because it's a Japan-Korea event, and it's a nice way to compare two societies and how each society responds to capitalistic logics or incorporate capitalism in their own ways. So because we have two students from Korea and two students from Japan, maybe I would like to ask you how you connect this discussion to your own society. Maybe we can start with Haruki then.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, honestly, this question was really tough for me, like to come up with some ideas, and yeah. Well, let me talk about the chatsu the Japanese people, almost all Japanese people use. Like in the application recently, some new functions were added. Like it is that we can delete message without notification to others, but you can get such function with some membership. So you have to pay to get some function. And this is tiny things, but I felt that this is really capitalistic phenomenon. And I also feel that the capitalistic phenomenon is really influenced our communication with people. And if we expand these things to the other things, for example, we have generative AI. So which can make human-like sentences. Actually, my friends often make generative AI, write email, or even some chatsu, some chatsu incorporate AI into the application. And yes. So I think this situation was really driven by capitalism. Capitalism is, the good point of capitalism is that we can have innovation, but also the capitalism commodify a lot of things. For example, the system, the function that I mentioned in the beginning. So for me, I take it for granted that we human write sentences, but now AI can do instead. So I'm feeling a certain discomfort that my maybe assumption is broken in this AI era. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So there's also the book called Monetary Capitalism that they make data something like a resource, and they regard this as data as something like oil, and as resources they make money out of our private data. That's something that you mentioned maybe just now. So there are many forms of how the people make money out of things that we never thought of. So yes, we have to be careful about that. What about you, Jong-won?
So South Korea has gone through a very rapid industrialization, and we have achieved like huge economic growth in a very short amount of time. And I think maybe because of that, in recent days, capitalistic logic or capitalistic values are more and more dominating people's thought. So a lot of people around me, so for example, university students, they think that money is just the most important value in their life. Of course, money is very important, but they think that, so if you have more amount of money, then that means you are automatically more superior than other people in the society. And what I want to specifically talk about regarding this is because in my generation, those capitalistic value is becoming very predominant. I actually heard in the session on higher education on how this is also impacting like universities' rankings or fundings. And I just wanted to share some of the things that I felt throughout attending college. These days, many students are considering colleges as one step that they go through before getting the jobs. So rather than really trying to learn something valuable, or rather than trying to gain like valuable experiences with the faculty members or with the peers, a lot of people actually think that they're going to classes because they have to get grades, or they're attending colleges because they need degree to submit to their workplaces. And this is making universities like a degree mill, to be honest. I'm really sad to say this, but a lot of students are thinking like this, as far as I know. So I was always thinking about like university's genuine goal. It's to foster more scholars, and it needs to focus more on educational values. But I was always concerned about how the future of education will going to be if more and more people are thinking in this kind of way. So maybe in this way, I think capitalism is even attacking the educational scenes that should be preserved in a way that's highly educational. But yeah, maybe I think this could be one point that we can think about as like future leaders or people who are related to educational scenes in universities.
That's a very interesting point. And yes, so you see that this for many students in Korea, colleges or universities are a means or instrument to make money in the future in a way, or earn a better, have a better living. So it's a more it's translated into a more economic satisfaction rather than any kind of liberal arts, more getting more deeper insights. So that's the secondary purpose. So it's a good timing to come to LA because you are majoring education. So what do you think about the situation in Japan? Because Jong-won said that the situation in Korea is like that, but maybe you can mention about the Japanese situation in terms of higher education.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Actually, I'd like to mention about the meritocracy in the capitalism, and I think capitalism makes capitalism and are really familiar with meritocracy because capitalism makes highly of performance-based rewards, right? So, however, I did some kinds of field work about related to the disparity in education. And so sometimes I feel kind of fear about the meritocracy in the current capitalism, because in the meritocracy, the failure and the undesirable results of the people who are in the unfortunate environment could be regarded just as the lack of their effort. But I think in the current world, there is the environment, the innate environment, such as where and which family and we were born in, or our gender, also seriously affects the distance to social success and how hard it is to achieve their goals or achieve their well-being. So, I think it is quite important for us to keep in mind that that there are a lot of people who can't be successful, and not because of their the lack of their effort, but their environment, and truly they have the potential to be successful, but they have scarce environment to do so. It's my opinion.
Thank you very much. So you explained that the current structure of higher education system rather strengthen the present existing structure of society rather than giving the youth the more hope or mobility to or improve their lives. And you also mentioned during our discussions that Japanese students, that's why Japanese students are quite concerned that because these so-called meritocratic competitions, they fear that they may fail, because once they fail, there's not many second chances. So that was a big contrast between Japanese students and Korean students. Am I right? That's you mentioned that about that too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Minu, do you agree with that? So the Korean students, you also mentioned that Korean students think more about money and think that higher education is a way or means to be the upward mobility in terms of economic situation, and in contrast, Japanese students more have a fear not to fail. So these are something that we have discussed. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, first thing first, you asked me that, do I agree with someone? And actually my answer is yes. Overall, I think Koreans' mindset is more cling to, and it's lean over to, I think, capitalism or like materialism. Yeah, as Jungwon mentioned, a lot of people think like having money is like, it means that you're superior to the others, or not having money is like being inferior. Yeah, I think it's happening, and I want to make this into more theoretical way. Actually, I think this era is kind of losing virtue when we're thinking of jobs. So I made my presentation with my teammates about intimacies becoming commodity in this society, and along with intimacy, every virtues that we can chase is, I think, kind of becoming commodity, or it is just losing with fights with capitalism and any material aspects. Theoretically, yes, because we see a lot of people's story about they're earning money. They earning money really easily nowadays in Korea. For some people who doing some gambling in stock markets, or they are doing some bitcoins. Bitcoin is kind of really easy way when you get some money. Of course, it's risky, I know. Theoretically like this, but at the same time, to make this matter more down to earth, I think like our dream is really, really restricted by capitalism things. So our original question was like, how do you see capitalism in your own society? And the thing I felt a lot about capitalism in my life is actually when I'm thinking of buying my house or like dreaming my future. Actually, I'm not from Seoul, the capital city of South Korea, and it's really, really hard for people to buy house in Seoul if they not getting from their parents actually. So that kind of restricts my option choice like I cannot live in Seoul, so I'd better just taking some jobs that everyone just wanna avoid, like going to the rural or small cities to like factories, not about semiconductor big companies. Yeah, so everything is really complicated and we need to determine the things really carefully, but at the same time, the most important thing is that everything is related deeply into capitalism. And today, a lot of professors have said that we need to worry about sustainability, right? And I cannot agree more. We have to think about sustainability because anyway, we are human beings and we want human beings to live on this planet happily, right? But when we are mentioning about sustainability, I think we have to think more about our future. Like, not only restricted to eco-friendly things, but also the youth dream, the youth to think about intimacy and everything else. The virtue things, I think we have to be concerned more about this. And yes, it is really closely related to my life.
Yeah, so the capitalistic logic permits every aspect, every facet of your life. Yeah, yes, I actually, as students mentioned, the role of higher education or universities were in question, and we have really the appropriate person to answer this question, because and also it differs from from one country to another. For example, the Korea students say that this is kind of in reality, it became a kind of the means to step up to the next stage or to get a better job and better salaries. Whereas in the Japanese students, they say they are in anxiety, they want to have more stability, so they project a university as a means to stabilize their lives. What do you think about that, President FUJII?
Okay. Yeah. Well, so when I listened to that argue, also I felt like, so currently, perhaps in Korea and Japan too, so the career of the young generation is still quite, so you will need to envision your career in still very limited time frame. So is that correct? Or so I also have a feeling that in Japan also there are not much diversity in time for the youth to think about their career. So like in what age so you will enter you graduate high school and then entering into higher education, and then after finish your higher education, so you will basically join a company or a public sectors or whatever. Then that's it. So it's a kind of very big also big valley in between the learning time and also working time, and in between schools and business or society. But I think in the future, so we will need to think about the more flexible ways to think about your own careers. And I think at some point you could do some, as you propose, so you could, for example, start up some business, or you could do some non-profit. But then at a certain moment, you could also go back to your school to learn some more, some different expertise, so that you could take another step and in companies or public sectors and so on. So that this kind of so for the once again as a senior, so we need to think about how we could realize such kind of flexible society. And if you go for this, and then we will need to think about all this, for example, social security system also this payment ladder and so on, so forth. So that many things should be rearranged. But at some point, there will be some more flexible career building will be made possible. So that's my thought. So that for that purpose, we also need to think about this capitalism system in industry. So for example, recruit people. And so normally in Japan, it's there's a kind of very unique system to recruit people in so many new members of the company, maybe almost like hundreds of people hired right after their graduation. So like this way, it's kind of very much structurized system for the Japan's recruitment. But so including this kind of system, we need to rethink about it. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think considering what President Fujii said, I think the task or challenge that our seniors like us have in this society is that to make more, how do you say, the flexible society, and say that to the youth that we always have the second chance. So I think both Korean society and Japanese society, they seem to be different, but they are also suffering from one kind of common concern, which is maybe if they fail, they would never get to become rich, or if they fail, they would never become, so to say, to have a stable life, or something like that. So it would be nice that if we prepare many possibilities, many options, many options, then and chances, then people say, okay, this one didn't work, but maybe we can try out another option. And that could be a solution to for us to prepare how we shape the future. For example, I thought so. Yes, that would be that made me think that it's really hard. It's really a task for those who are ahead of their years to prepare some more flexible society, which can see beyond what is happening at the moment. Well, I would like to move on to the next question. Before I ask you about how you envision your future as leaders, I want to go to Haruki, because I am Executive Vice President in charge of diversity and inclusion, and my concern is that I want to really have more women at the University of Tokyo, and I try out many measures to increase the number of also women researchers, women scientists, but it's really difficult. And fortunately, Haruki has been really trying to increase the number of women students and also raise the awareness of gender issues. And you have questions to President Fujii concerning gender inequity in conjunction with capitalistic society. Haruki?
Yes, like about the gender issues, I'm interested in the gender studies. I am majoring in it. And yeah, recently I was asked by friends that why are you interested in gender studies because you are male? And yes, I kind of surprised that to be asked because it was natural for me to like gender studies in the university. And yeah, I think at least in Japan society, yes, talking about gender issues, male talking about gender issues is like minor, something that is taboo. Or personally I don't have many friends who are interested in gender studies. So, but I think like the gender is also related in capitalism because we as a human live inside the capitalism. So I think like we have to find a connection with capitalism, and we have to encourage all people to take a seat at the table when talking about gender issues. So what do you think, like how to include all members of society to like have discussion about gender issues?
To add a little bit about our earlier discussion, Haruki also said that the more Haruki learns about capitalism, the more pessimistic he thinks the capitalism appears to be, because capitalism ultimately tries to make money instead of achieving equality. So the original aim of social justice inevitably becomes a benefit of capitalism. So how would you say that the inequality produced by capitalist society can be overcome, in particular the gender inequality?
Yes. So the most important thing is to raise the awareness of the importance of that gender diversity. And in fact, it's so if we discuss about diversity, it's not only the gender diversity, but so many other diversities should be involved. But in any case, it's so important for us to prepare the seats, as you said, for the people from the different backgrounds or diverse backgrounds to participate equally into the discussion for this, for example, for this kind of important topics. So that at least, for example, as a role of the higher education, we would like to push that way. So that as a university, we basically want to, we put this priority over this diversity and inclusion as a university guidelines. So it's a basic principle of a university. And also we implemented the measures to promote to share these kind of ideas throughout university. But I mean, still there's so many things that we need to do. So that it's not so easy given this current situation. Like in our case, the female student is 1 out of 5. So it's quite yes, I mean significant imbalance in terms of the gender diversity. So that. Yes, so we are in the process, yes.
It's been a challenge.
For the improvement.
Yeah, any student, any comments about that? If you have any comments about this issue, or no? Any idea? Yeah,
actually, so I'm the one versus 4, right? And so and I think that it's really important, and I'm really glad that the male have interest in this issue, the gender issue. So especially the male student of Tokyo University. So, and because it was kind of sad memory to me that in the Tokyo University there is a gender study class, but the most of the students are female students. So it means that male students are not interested in this issue. So I think it's really important make male students or the majorities have interest in this kind of minority issues. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think gender issue is very important, but the key word I would like to pick up now is that the diversity, because I think the diversity has a crucial role in, so to say, live up the so to say the capitalistic society, because it needs a lot of ideas, it needs a lot of perspectives to be able to come up to a better society, better idea. That's at the ideal level. Capitalism would not deny that participants from many perspectives take part in a project. So like like a startup, or also in the university environment. I think there we can have, so to say, the inspiration from also the original capitalistic idea that market, if we have many ideas from different perspectives, we can achieve a better how do you say, better truth or better idea. So why not be optimistic about in a capitalistic society? I mean, I am always very pessimistic about the gender ratio at this university, but I try to persuade myself, no, being pessimistic does not get anywhere. So Haruki, please
Yes.
don't give up. And yes, and also not only the gender diversity, but it's like now, today, we have Korean perspectives and Japanese perspectives. And with two different nations, we have something that we have achieved other than we here in Japan alone, Japanese alone. So it's a nice constellation to have more perspectives if we think of something really difficult or complicated challenge. Okay, thank you very much. And now we move on to the next next question or next challenge. You have thought about capitalism or capitalistic society since summer, so for months. But you all are emerging leaders. So how do you envision your role as a university student and as a future leader? And what kind of impact or actions do you want to take as a leader in the future? Maybe John Wong, you can start.
Yeah, so to answer this question, I think I need to first of all think about what kind of leader do I try to be in my life. So I always think that leaders are the ones who help the people in the group to achieve their full potential. So it's not just about doing everything for them, or it's not about solving the problems that they're going through with my own power, but it's about helping them. So that's why I think that leaders should always be ready to be the follower in certain situations if necessary. And that's some kind of social role that I want to take. I always think that connecting different values are very important, especially in capitalistic society where distribution of resources is a very big issue that a lot of people are struggling with. I think that there are some unmet needs where there are more resources necessary. And as I also presented, in the future, I am currently thinking of being a venture capitalist, helping founders with great ideas to achieve their potential and realize their ideas by helping them through capital, or whether it's insights regarding businesses. And I think that through that, if I encourage more startups in our society and encourage more innovations in our society, I can definitely serve as some kind of bridge in between different values. For example, resources and some brilliant ideas, or it can be capital and some good business models. And I think that could be a role that I can take in the society in the future.
So thank you very much. So that would mean that you see the resources and you have to distribute, and you can bridge these two in society, and that is the role of the leader for you as a leader in a leadership. Yeah. Okay, that's a very nice way of leading society, and also a friendly way to lead people. Yeah. I'm very impressed. Thank you. So why don't go to Mino then first?
Thank you, Professor. Actually, it is really important question, but as I mentioned before, the younger generation actually in Korea are losing their dreams. But of course, I'm sitting here, I cannot complain about everything, but I have to make some changes and I have to be determined to something. And as President FUJII mentioned, in Korea, everyone is kind of feeling like they have to do something in their specific timeline of their lives. And there is, of course, there can be a lot of different things, but they feel like they're fixed to do something. And I think it's really like East Asian thing. So first of all, as a person who is living in this world as a younger generation, I think I have to be a role model for them. So because I think like the one thing I think is really hard for me is actually I don't have any role model to look and want to resemble. So actually all we see on the media is actually the success guy with like because he get a lot of fortune from their older generation or maybe like social influencers. So I think we need more role model and their story has to be more propagated and I really want to be one of them. That's my personal hope. And second of all, as a leader, I think I have to make small changes, but at the same time, I definitely want to go to somewhere. Of course, I don't know anything for now, but I have some ideal. Like, I came to mechanical engineering faculty because I hate machines. The machines in the current society and current world, they lack of considering of human actually. So there's a lot of example I like, but due to the time limitation, I cannot name anything. But yeah, so I really want to contribute like that. Just to give you some idea, what I wanted to do is actually like counteracting to commodification of everything. So one of the example was when we were presenting the intimacy economy, the idea was actually there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Mino always used to say that my ideal is such a big one, and I don't know how I can contribute and so on. But everybody here, we have, as we discussed in the process of discussion, we can't have any great panacea to solve everything, and see what we can do and how we can do. And as you said that you as an engineer, you want to do something with your engineering knowledge that you can contribute to society, namely this, what was that? The intimacy
Economy.
economy, yes. So the word like intimacy economy is for me something that very unfamiliar. But that's the leadership you should take to let other people know what it is, and yeah, so that would be great. And okay, so would you say something about your leadership?
Thank you so much, Professor. I'd like to stay engaged with social issues and help raise political and social awareness among young people. In Japan, I feel that these issues are not commonly discussed with others, or especially with friends in daily life, but I hope to share opinions with my friends and broaden my own perspectives and take small but concrete actions. And so in order to solve the social issues, like the gender, one of them is gender issues, and it's really important to raise awareness among people, especially young people, including me. So I'd like to stay engaged, and I'd like to have the interest in such things and try to broaden my perspectives.
Okay, thank you. If Haruki, would you like to say something?
Okay, like, yeah, as a guy who are interested in like gender issues, I think I have to be a bridge between the various people, if I borrow the John's words. Like, yeah, of course, like, as a male, like in Japan, a lot of male are criticizing gender equality, and amid the situation, I feel a little like scary that I talk about gender issues. But yes, I think I have to play a role in to like bridge these people to for someone. Yes.
Yeah, you try to bridge the people through your knowledge about gender issues, and you take the lead to let them know why the gender issues are important. Thank you very much. I think we went through the questions, and we talked about the leadership as a final question, and we would like to have advice from President Fujii as a leader of this university, how you thought about the student comments, and give them advice to become a great leader.
Well, it's not so easy to give an advice to become a good leader, but you have already talked about this, for example, social issues, and also so we have been discussing about this through capitalism, discussion on capitalism, and then that is let you think more about society itself, right? So then that is also from that discussion that you thought many things around society and also social issues and also unmet needs of the society. So that involves, of course, the equitable access to many of the services or activities like education and so on and so forth. So all of these things should be very important for the future of our society. So having said that, so you definitely, so I don't give any specific advice for you to do something, but what I wanted to say to you is, so currently you have your own interest and your own kind of passion to do something. So then if you have that, so please pursue that itself. So then by doing so, at some point, so you will come up with the actual actions to do after you, for example, study in the university. And then that will become your job, for example. But the important thing is to pursue what you are interested in now, and then you have put 100%, so you can put 100% of energy for now. And then through that kind of pursuit, you could acquire so many important experiences and important knowledge and important expertise, and then that would bring you up to the next level as a leader. So that this kind of, pursuit with 100% effort is just so important for now. So then on our side, so we, as we discussed, we should work on for example, preparation of the new platform, so that you could take action on that platform. So like this, but we definitely would like to think about that. So thank you so much for all of your inputs today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So don't give up. That is a message from President Fujii. Well, thank you very much for all the discussions. As we also discussed, there's no perfect solution to the challenges that capitalism brings, and no simple fix that will make the world instantly better. But our wrap-up session participants have said it all, and free and open discussion is the key to our society. So thank you also President Fuji for sharing your thoughts and vision as the leader of this institution. Thank you very much. And everybody, thank you very much for listening to us. Please join me in giving them a big applause to the students.
Thank you so much for the exciting discussion. I think this free exchange of opinions between the younger and the more established scholars is what I think that makes this forum so special. Thank you very much. Please give them another round of applause.